Okay, guys, it's time to do the next part of my ranking every single Star Wars character. I just need to find where I left off. I believe we left off at Paige Tico, which was 87th. So this is my 86th. And 86th place as my favorite Star Wars character is Wedge Antilles. I think Wedge. I just rewatched all the original Star Wars films and I honestly realized Wedge has a bigger role than you realize. Particularly, obviously, the trench run and then the blowing up the Death Star and Return of the Jedi. I kind of rewatched and I was like, wow, he actually has a lot to do. He actually contributed a lot, being the only one, besides Luke, being the only one not to die in the trench run, blowing up, the part of the Death Star, and also so he ends up having a bigger role than I expected because it's not just your average expendable X-wing pilot. He ends up making a difference in the Return of the Jedi and New Hope, and then he's in Rebels, and he's like, how is he utilized in Rebels? You ask. He's honestly utilized pretty well. I think the way he can kind of definitely has some missions, and obviously I think he's not utilized like as one of the main characters, but his episodes that he's in is pretty good. But like a lot of their characters, he doesn't have a ton of screen time. He's not one of the mainstays, but still I think a really enjoyable character, but not like on that high of a level. Coming in 85th place is Moff Gideon. I really like these kind of fierce and serious Imperials because I think a lot of Imperial officers, even though they're like ranked, a lot of them might be ranked high, they don't have the best to do and they don't contribute the most either way. And I think, but here it's like, oh wow, they're actually pretty cool and they're actually contributing to a lot of different things. And I was like, wow, that's kind of exciting. And so yeah, I really was blown away by that. And I think that was a good contribution to in that aspect, in that regard. And I think I love that he ended up wielding the Darksaber. But I think with his character, I feel like he's ranked at this position because he was only in Mandalorian for 2 episodes, but he made a good impact, and I think he was still menacing, and I think I loved him having the Darksaber, but I'm honestly more intrigued with what they're going to do in season 2 of The Mandalorian than suppose actually my enjoyment of him in The Mandalorian. But he did come off menacing and crazy, and I think I really enjoyed him, but at the same time it's like he didn't contribute the most at that point. Coming in 84th place is Baze Malbus. I mean, he's a great shot. You gotta admit that. So he's a great shot, and I think that's something you gotta keep in mind. But yeah, I think he's really just amazing. He's just great, and I think that was really exciting to me about him being amazing and great, and I think I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed that aspect to him. But at the same time, I think this goes with a lot of Rogue One characters. He doesn't get the most development, and that does hinder him back in his position. Coming in 83rd place is Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ki-Adi is interesting, where he's not the most interesting. I like his look. I probably would have put him lower, but when I made this list, but Ki-Adi is interesting, where he has a great look. I mean, I don't think we've really seen anybody else in his species, but I think he still comes off exciting and interesting nonetheless. And so I think that's really contributable. But he doesn't have a lot to do. But I think I really liked the landing on Point Rain episode where he was in. I think I like the animation quality on him. And you gotta face it, I think his Order 66 death was pretty darn memorable. Coming in 82nd place is Gregor. Gregor was interesting. I really liked what he contributed to our knowledge of clones and what a clone could be, because I think that's a lot about the show is of Clone Wars. exploring your knowledge of the clones. And he comes. I think one of the interesting things he comes in a really bad arc, the worst arc of Clone Wars with the droids and stuff. And so he's in a bad place when it comes to that. But with that being said, he still elevates the arc. I'm not looking at where this character is in the timeline. I'm looking at the character itself. And Gregor himself, I really like this idea of like a clone who gets amnesia, doesn't remember, but slowly through, he's in one episode and then he's in Clone Wars, and then or Rebels, and then he dies, and I think but yeah, I think it was interesting where it's like slowly through that episode you learn about his past. And I think that was interesting because it's like I love exploring the clone mythology. So that was exciting. Coming in 81st place is where did it go? Is Steela Guerrera. Steela is exciting because I love the rebel, I guess, tenacity she really brings to the character. I think like exploring rebels in Clone Wars was exciting. Like not rebels like the characters, but rebels like a rebel soldier. And I think she was the ultimate person. She was the North Star for Saw, who is a very developed character. And I think I like her sacrifice, where it's like her death is not just like, oh, she sacrificed herself. It had layers to hitting the plane, hitting the gunning ship, to that crashing and onto the rock, to the rock slipping, to her falling, to her falling, but then she was saved, and then the gunner ship shot Ahsoka, and then as she fell, and so it's like there's so many layers to it of how she ultimately died, because she died. And there's like, is it Saw's fault for shooting the gunner ship? Is it Ahsoka's fault for getting shot? Is it Steele's fault for just being in that situation? I don't know. But it's not just her death that makes her memorable. It's her role, and it's her, I guess, spirit of hope to the rebellion, to that place where it's like the arc's like in many ways about her idea of like, leader, but because she becomes leader of the Alderaan rebellion. I think that was really exciting to me, and I think while she's only in that one arc, she makes an impact, and I thought that was what made it really exciting. Coming in 80th place is IG-11. I think I love about him was how he goes from being a bounty hunter to someone to help them, and to ultimately die because he's helping them. I think that's interesting. And I think droids could be really cool if they're utilized in cool ways, and I love that the droid was able to see the Mandalorian without his helmet because it was a droid, and how he was able to help. And it was like interesting where he does do a complete 180, but just those droids in general are cool. Like they can spin around and shoot, and you take the physicality and the action sequences you can do with the droid, that type of droid, and give them some real emotions. It can be really exciting, but at the same time, it's like not the best. And so yeah, coming in 79th place is Gar Saxon. I really like his fight with Sabine. I think that was really cool. I guess I did love Mandalorian Imperials. I also enjoy him in his brief role in Clone Wars, and I love that he gets captured. But I love the look of him in Clone Wars. That look of him in Clone Wars was great. Like that, the helmets to honor Maul. I love red and black together, and it looks so cinematic. His look, and I like the accent. I like the look, but at the same time, I mean, we're just talking about looks and accents and action sequences. But the character itself, I feel like, is in some ways is a generic pawn, where it's like not like the typical pawn, but it's like the Imperial of the pawn, and then I just didn't think like okay, he's just a typical another generic guard, but he still looked pretty cool in the process. Coming in 78th place is Tusken Raiders. Tusken Raiders have always been exciting. The noise they make, the outfits they make, injuring Luke, and they just become a staple of Tatooine in that location. And when you see Anakin slaughtering Tusken Raiders, you see Luke with them, where they don't get character development, but they get iconic, to put it in any other phrase. That'll be it for this this part of ranking every Star Wars character. Stay tuned for more videos coming right at you.